Thank you, Nanny. Thank you, Bridge Kids. I don't think I realized how much stuff I was carrying when I came up. Good morning. Made myself a little nest here. All right. Oh, I am so glad to get to see everybody here, and who's waiting for me to spill that coffee? All right, I'm so glad to get to see everybody that's here this morning. And if you are not in the room, but you're watching online, I'm grateful that you're here. And drop us a note. Let us know that you were here. My name's Darren. I'm the pastor here at Bridge Life, and I am stoked about today. We have been walking through our core values, and we have come to the final on our list. Now, we've tried to keep the core value list simple. We could have 30 or 40 of those probably. It'd be really easy. But I've tried to keep this really simple and short, just 6 top-of-mind things about who we are, how we live. And we're at the last one. We've talked about authenticity over excellence. We've talked about love each other well. We've talked about the gospel is simple, or keep the gospel simple. We've talked about read it for yourself. Last week, we talked about equip the saints. And today, we're looking at live Jesus. And quite honestly, it is the summation or the culmination of everything else that we talk about. If you want to talk about our mission of building relationships, investing in discipleship, gathering everyone for the glory of God. If you want to talk about our strategy to do that by engaging in a genuine relationship with God, to invest the fruit of that relationship into the lives of the people around us, and to look to expand that sphere of influence. If you want to talk about our pursuit, we want to pursue the answers to the question, who is Jesus? Answering the question of authority in our lives. Who am I because of Jesus? Answering the question of identity. Who is the Holy Spirit in me? Answering the question of ability. And who am I in the church? Answering the question of ministry. You want to take all of that and bring it together. If we forget everything else, the only thing that really matters is live Jesus. Allow Jesus to live through you. That's huge. And so I don't want you to forget everything else, because everything else is some tools that we can use as we are trying to understand and walk out this identity. And it's huge and it's important, but if it all comes down to it and you forget everything else, this is the priority. And it's really just a continuation of the conversation that we started last week. I have written this message probably 4 times this week. I'm hoping that we don't get bits and pieces of each one. But I keep putting together how we can pray like Jesus and walk like Jesus and speak like Jesus. I thought that was a really cool way to lay that out. I thought about keeping Jesus in perspective and keeping Jesus the priority and keeping Jesus as that which we pursue, our pursuit. And I thought that was really cool. And that even had 3 Ps. I was really happy about that one, right? That's a good message. And all of these I thought were really good messages. But I don't want to do it that way. What I really want to do today is have a conversation with you. I want to continue the conversation from last week. Now, we talked about equip the saints last week. And we talked about, from Ephesians 4, Paul's perspective on equipping the saints and how he illustrates for us that this is entirely a work of the Holy Spirit. It's not me who equips anybody. Matter of fact, if I'm equipping you, I'm really probably going to mess you up. But it is the Holy Spirit who is working in each of us and equipping us. And we have this opportunity, this really amazing opportunity, to allow him moving through us to do this work of sharpening and equipping each other. Because he has one mission. He has one focus. And we talked about this last week. What is the mission of the Holy Spirit? What is his priority? It's okay if you didn't listen last week. I didn't either. I'm just kidding. It's to illuminate Christ. Right? I told you it's conversation. If you're online, you got to be talking to your TV or your phone or whatever. You're just holler out. It's okay. Like, I know the answer. Like when you're watching Jeopardy, right? So, where are they going? His mission is to illuminate Christ. And the Holy Spirit living in me, bringing to life in me the resurrected Christ, the resurrected life of Jesus alive in me. What does he want to do? Illuminate Christ. So there's a couple of words that we use, and all of these kind of come together. We might say glorify Christ. That's a good word, isn't it? A picture of this kind of like shedding a light on. I feel that a little bit. Everybody's kind of I got these lights hit my glasses, and I'm going all like, wah. I can still see you. Another word we might use is to reveal Christ. Because the resurrected life of Christ has been planted in us by his Spirit, and we have become children of the living God. And we have this new life and this new identity, and the Holy Spirit is doing this work of sanctification, this work of us being conformed to the image of Christ. And as he is doing that, the goal, as Ephesians 4 says, we grow up into the head, which is Christ. We grow into maturity. But the whole idea is that it is revealing Christ. Christ is being revealed. Colossians says, when Christ, who is your life, appears. That's this work that the Holy Spirit is doing, is he is revealing Christ through us. Another great word is manifest. Manifest. It's not a magic word. And to manifest something is not to produce it from nothing, right? The stage magician is not manifesting a rabbit out of the hat. Well, he actually is. He's not creating a rabbit out of the hat. He's showing you a rabbit that was already in the hat or behind it, or there's all kinds of tricks going on there, trust me. We're going to move on. To manifest means to take and make visible, make known, make understood. The Holy Spirit's doing the work of manifesting Christ through our lives. We just sang about, thank you guys, the band, magnify. And I want to qualify this picture. It's not like Jesus is itty bitty and we got to make him bigger. It's more like when I see an airplane going by, right? How big does that airplane look in the sky? How big does that airplane look if I'm right beside it? If I want to look to the sun, I can actually look up at the sky and put my hand up and cover the sun. Sometimes I do. Right? Like, ooh. But how big is the sun? Is it smaller than my hand? No, if I was right there, I'd be dead. But the earth can fit millions of times inside the sun. And the stars that are further away are actually bigger, way bigger. And they just look like little pinpoints that we can barely see sometimes. But they're magnified, meaning they're made so that we can see them. And for Christ to be magnified is in me is not a matter of taking what is little and making it bigger. No, it's a matter of taking that which to me I am drawing closer to, and he is becoming, or I'm seeing him more clearly, and I'm seeing him bigger. Does that make sense? Not only am I seeing him bigger, but also the people around me who are sharing life with me are seeing him bigger through me. We got enough words to get some pictures of this? The Holy Spirit is making Christ visible through the body. And if you were a believer in Jesus this morning, you are a part of the body. And the life of God has been made alive in you, and the Holy Spirit is doing this work in you, changing from the inside out so that Christ may be revealed, magnified, glorified, manifest. You follow? This is huge. Jesus prayed for this. We're going to look real quick at John 17, if you want to open up. And everybody that was here Monday night is sitting there looking at Philippians 1 going, wait a second. We're going to get there. Jesus says, and we're going to pick up at verse 16, is this in this prayer right before he is arrested, right before he goes to the cross. And he is praying for his disciples, and he's praying for me, and he's praying for you. He says, they are not of the world, just as I'm not of the world. Sanctify them in the truth. Your word is truth. Now, this is a great picture. What does sanctify mean? What's that? Set apart. It's exactly what sanctify means. That means set apart for a purpose. Mike Cormican knows this from visiting my house. Every time I say his name, he has fear. Trust me. When I say Eleanor's name, she's like, but Mike knows what he did. When Kristen and I first got married, and some of you guys